I will continue the government's case in support of the Freedom Dividend, a policy that provides every American adult over the age of 18 with $1,000 per month funded through a value added tax and normal government revenue. First, let's remind the judge of the key arguments presented by the Prime Minister. Argument 1: Poverty reduction and financial security. Millions of Americans struggle to afford basic necessities such as food, rent, and health care. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, tens of thousands of Americans live below the poverty line. The Freedom's Dividend provides a guaranteed financial support, helping families cover essential expenses and reducing economic stress. Argument 2: Economic growth and stimulation. When people receive additional income, they spend it on their communities, supporting businesses and creating demand. Research from the Roosevelt Institute found that a universal basic income could boost U.S. economic output because of increased consumer spending. Argument 3: Preparing for the future of work. Automation and AI are reshaping the job market. According to the World Economic Forum, millions of jobs will be transformed or displaced in the coming decades. The Freedom Dividend provides a safety net, allowing workers to retain, pursue, and educate or transition into new industries without falling into poverty. Responding to the leader of opposition, inflation reduces purchasing power. The opposition claims that distributing $1,000 monthly to every adult will drive inflation and reduce real value of the check. While inflation is a valid concern, moderate cash transfer in a large and productive economy like the US do not automatically cause runaway inflation. The International Monetary Fund explains that inflation primarily occurs when supply cannot meet demand. U.S. businesses can expand production to meet higher demand, meaning consumer purchasing power remains largely intact. Cash flow won't fix healthcare or homelessness. The opposition argues that the Freedom Dividend cannot solve structural healthcare or homelessness issues. This misunderstands the role of Freedom Dividend. It is not a replacement of systemic reform, but a supplemental safety net. Cash provides immediate relief to families struggling to pay bills, access care, or afford housing. It works in tandem with other policies. Studies from Government of Finland and other basic income experiments show that unconditional payments improve well-being, allow people to make better financial decisions, and even help recipients invest in health and stability. Argument 3, LOC. Cost of the programs $3 trillion a year is unsustainable. The opposition claims funding via a value-added tax would be regressive and reduce the real value of payments. However, most countries with VATs, including Canada, many EU nations, successfully fund social programs while protecting low-income households through tax credit or exemptions. Furthermore, increased consumer spending from Freedom Dividend will generate additional tax revenue, partially offsetting costs. This is not simply printing money, it is an economically sustainable model. Incentives to work may decline. Argument 4, LOC. The opposition argues that people may work less if they receive guaranteed income. Yet, empirical studies of basic income programs, such as the Finnish experiment and pilot programs in the U.S., show that labor participation remains largely unaffected. People use the income to pursue education, start small businesses, or invest in career growth, which strengthens the economy over time. Stimulating entrepreneurship and innovation. Guaranteed income allows people to take calculated risk, starting business, creating art, or innovating without fear of financial ruin. This fosters economic growth and long-term productivity. Reading administrative explicitity. Current welfare programs often involve high administrative costs and bureaucratic barriers. A universal cash transfer is simpler, faster, and more adequate, reaching every adult without complex eligibility checks. In conclusion, the leader of opposition relies on overly pessimistic assumptions about inflation costs and work incentives. In reality, the Freedom Dividend provides financial security for millions of Americans. It stimulates economic growth through consumer spending. It prepares the workforce for changing job markets. It complements systemic reforms in healthcare and housing. For these reasons, I strongly urge the judge to vote for the government and support Freedom Dividend. Thank you.